And welcome to Between the Stripes. This is your daily diet of Indiana sports. Tonight we're talking hoops. We're talking football again. So we're going to talk about last year's team. And in my opinion, the defense is what won us the national championship last year. Sure, Mendoza was great. He had those last second heroics, the miracles, if you will. But it was the defense that kept us in those games. We're hoping tonight, we're talking about the offense. We're hoping to take next year's offense to another level, to maybe give us a little breathing room so the defense has time to mess up or have some miscues here and there. So without further ado, we're going to bring in the Crimson Crew tonight, guys.
Indiana, let's go. Crimson Crew in the
building. When you hear that sound, you're going to know one thing. We do have the Crimson Crew in the building. We're going to take a second to welcome them. Scott, how was your week, bro?
Better than I deserve, my friend.
I hear you there. What about you, Merce? Having a good week?
Hey, week's great. Ready to talk some offense for the Hoosiers.
I like the sound of it. Jake, how's it going, brother?
Been going good. I've been doing a lot of film watching.
Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Jacob gets the Panel of the Day award because his dedication to this is unreal. It's his girlfriend's birthday today, and he is with us tonight. So, Jake, you are my hero tonight, buddy. Well, tonight we are going to talk about the offense, and when you talk about the offense, you talk about the main guy behind the ball. You talk about the quarterback, and it will be Josh Hoover, the transfer from TCU. I think he's the returning national leader in yards this year. So we're going to talk about the quarterback room, and I know Curt Cignetti said that Tyler Cherry was getting some snaps at the 2. We're going to start with you, Scott. What do you think about this quarterback room, and what we looking like?
I really think that Hoover's going to do a really good job for us this year. I watched Kirk Herbstreit, and then I also watched the Reese Davis and Cignetti interview where they broke down some film and kind of talked about what, Hoover did really well. I really like the fact that he ran the most RPO, option as a quarterback behind Fernando Mendoza last year. So he's going to come in well-versed with what we do. It's just a matter of him tweaking his know-how and capabilities into our system.
What about you, Jake? What's your thoughts on the room?
I think it's the same thing. I really like that quarterback 2 battle between Grant Wilson and Tyler Cherry. I think the experience will make Grant get the job, but Tyler Cherry is right behind him.
You got to consider Tyler Cherry's coming off that injury, and to even be able to play football right now is pretty impressive. That just shows you he's got the guts. So, Merce, what do you think about the quarterback stable this year?
Before we talk about the quarterbacks, I think we just need to give a shout out to probably the most important part of the offense, the offensive line. Yeah. I just don't think that we would have an elite offense if it wasn't for the offensive line. So yeah. I think Hoover is he's a really, really good quarterback. He's good at the RPO, and he can throw it in a little pocket, put it on a dime, and he's going to be really good this year.
Do you think Cherry or Grant Wilson fills that backup spot?
I think Wilson fills the backup spot. If Cherry didn't get hurt and was pretty much on the coaching staff last year, I think Cherry would have beat him out for the number 2 spot.
Okay, well, the thing about the RPOs, and we were talking about that earlier. Cignetti with the wide receivers we got this year, we got some serious weapons, but he likes to beat you in submission with the running backs, and I know he favors the power backs, if you will. So, Scott, talk a little bit about what kind of approach you think he'll use in the running back stable.
I really honestly think with the 3-headed monster that we have, it's going to be really position by position and where we sit out on the field. I think Kobe will get a lot of those kind of midfield carries just because of the fact that he has that just crazy burst, him and Richard. But I think BB will get a lot of the goal line carries. He's just a monster. He's a lot bigger than the other 2.
Yes.
So I think that's kind of the way he'll run with the running backs. I'm just anxious to see how they will do that. Will they do more between the actual tackles, or will they do a little bit more, around the ends and stuff like that with their running game this year?
Well, look, before I go to the other 2 here, I just thought of something earlier. I was talking to Merce about it. With Kobe Martin and his raw ability just to run, how fast he is, I'm not going to question the GOAT. Cignetti knows what he's doing. But sometimes I wonder, can we use him on special teams, like as a punt returner or as a kickoff returner? Because he gets in the open field, he's a danger, is he not, Scott?
I mean, he is, but I really like what we have from a special teams aspect.
Yeah.
I'd be honest with you, it would not surprise me if he does do a little bit of that this year. But I really think he's going to leave that with more of the receiver core.
Yeah.
You got to have hands, right? And
Sure.
and I think that's the big difference. When you're catching those punts or kickoffs, having hands is important. Not saying that Kobe doesn't have great hands. He's just he's not a receiver.
Jake, what's your opinion on the running back room? And do you think maybe we could get maybe Martin out for a little flank passes to get him out in that open space? What do you think about the running backs?
I think we're super deep. I mean, Lee Beebe, if I'm not mistaken, was running back 2 last year before he went down.
He was.
I think he's got some, like Scott said, goal line, third down and close type style. Kobe Martin is super fast, great burst.
Yeah.
I'm really interested in to see what they do with Turbo because he's the same way. He's got some speed, got some strength, but I wonder if they're going to turn him into some type of receiving back. He's got a really good receiving game, like whether he's going to the side or like a Texas route or anything.
You're absolutely right. I had seen some videos where they throw him out little flank pass, and Richards is really good at catching the ball. Brian, when you look at Turbo Richards and Beebe, it kind of puts you in mind of Black and what was our running back last year?
Hemby.
Hemby. Do they not kind of favor a little bit in their style? And you throw in Martin, it's almost like the same running back room, is it not?
They do. I mean, it's pretty much exactly the same. And if you think about it, if BB didn't get hurt last year, it would have been a three-headed monster again.
Yeah.
So I think Cignetti likes to have 3 running backs, likes to stay fresh, and I think he's going to ride the hot hand in the second half of games.
Right. I'm kind of curious whether, because people say, well, you got to develop that running game before you start passing it. Could it go the opposite this year? Could they say, you know what, we're going to air it out, and then once the defense, are you Scott's shaking his no, everybody's shaking their head. Okay, I'm just saying with the weapons we have at wide receiver, like, hey, could you air it out, and then that gives the defense collapse. You're like, hey, let's just run it down the throat now. So
no, I think with Shannon. Go ahead,
I say, when have you ever seen Cignetti change anything what he did in the past?
Right. He's got that template. You're right, Scott.
Yeah, I don't think that, it's more about the fact that if the run game opens up the offense,
I agree.
And vice versa, right? So if you're able to break those holes, I'd be honest with you, the big thing I'm more concerned about is the tight end room. Even though our boy Shot did come from tight end U, I mean, like, listen, I could probably name 7 or 10 great tight ends that all came from Miami, so they know how to recruit a good tight end and develop a great tight end. Well, Winslow, Shockey, all the guys, Greg Olson, dude, they had so many great tight ends that came through there. So I think that's some good thing is that he's coming from a place that really, really knows the tight end position, and he's built like it. He's 6'3", 240. He's long. He hits hard. I think he's going to be really, really good for the blocking, but also being able to, open up the field because he's got some burstability himself.
I'm sitting back here laughing in my head when you said Miami as tight end U. I was just talking to Brian earlier. Speaking of Miami and tight ends, I saw a rumor on Twitter yesterday. I know it's not real, but I had seen several people post it. Maybe you guys seen the same rumor I did about Malik Renew wanting to get a 5th year. And talking to Coach Cignetti about playing tight end. Wouldn't a 6'9" tight end look really beautiful right now? Merce?
Yeah, but when have you ever – I just don't think Cignetti would take somebody who hasn't played college football before.
Yeah. I saw that rumor, and I tell you what, like I said, I almost put my little tin hat on. I thought, man, that's a conspiracy theory. Somebody's talking some – but you know what? I had seen several people said it, so I'm like, I don't think it has any wheels, but – we're going to talk about the running back room now, the wide receiver room and the weapons that we have available. We're going to talk a little bit about who gets the deep balls, who gets put in the slot, or do they kind of mix and match, I think, in my opinion, Becker and Marsh are going to be more of the deep ball guys. And I think he's going to put Morris and Chandler and the other name, LeBron Bonds. I think he's going to fill the slots with those. Jake, what's your thoughts on that?
I'm a big Bengals fan as well, so I try to compare to our receivers. We got a good receiver room there. I think Becker's a lot like T. Higgins. I mean, he gets all them 50-50 balls. I think he's going to be our downfield threat. And I really see what's his name? Marsh being kind of like a Jamar Chase or even an Omar Cooper. Can go downfield, has the capabilities to go down. I think he's going to run inside as well in the slot.
Yeah, with Marsh too, he after he gets hit, he still goes kind of like Cooper did last year, right?
Oh yeah, I mean he's his strength and he can stop on a dime. He's very talented.
Yeah. What about you? What do you think about it, Merce?
Well, I think I agree with Jake there. I think Becker is going to be our down field guy because he every catch with 20 yards, he averaged 20 yards on 34 catches. So, and I just think Marsh will be like he was at Michigan State.
Yeah, yeah. I think you're right, Scott. When we made our crew out here, our panel, we got a lot of compliments about our chemistry and everything. But when Jake said he was a Bengals fan, that gave me pause. What about you?
That would definitely give me pause. Anybody's a Bengals fan.
What do you think about this wide receiving room, Scott?
I'll be honest with you. I kind of quasi agree with both of them with the Becker, but I'll be honest with you. I think Marsh is going to catch a lot more deep balls than people realize. He's got really, really great burst. But don't forget about Shaz Preston. I mean, I think we forget about Shaz. I think your X receivers are going to be Marsh and Preston. Your Z outs are going to be Becker and Davion Chandler. And Chandler's probably the fastest on the team. I mean, that dude got burst. I mean, crazy burst.
Who was that?
Davion Chandler.
Yes. Yeah.
And then our slots are going to be Tyler Morris and LeBron Bond. So I think Tyler's got fantastic hands. Reminds me of Larry Fitzgerald.
Yes.
I mean, he's got great hands. So I'm really anxious to see what he brings to the table to this team. Like I said from the very beginning, though, chemistry is going to be the big concern with this wide out room with Hoover. How well, who does he connect with? Because that's going to ultimately end up being who's our position receiver, whether it's Marsh or Becker, whoever he ends up finding that groove with. And then, like I said, we'll run from there.
Merce, I'm going back with you with this one. Which wide receiver do you think will dominate this year? And who's going to be the surprise? Like, man, this guy, I tell you what, watch him. He will be the one that surprises everyone.
I think Marks is going to dominate everybody this year. I just think he's got the attributes to just catch anything around him and he'll run anybody over. He can outjump anybody. And I think the breakout player is going to be Tyler Morris because he got hurt early on last year, didn't play at all. But towards the end of the year, he was practicing full go.
What about you, Jake? Do you agree with that? And also, is it Shaz Preston? Do you think he'll see any time this year at all, with the depth?
Yeah, I think I agree with Brian on everything there. I see Preston being in that wide receiver 3-4 range, depending on if Morse has a huge breakout or even Davion Chandler. I mean, he's like Scott was saying, his speed. I mean, if he catches the ball and is consistent, you can't deny that.
Yeah, I watched one play last year. I didn't actually see the play itself. Let me rephrase that. But it was a still clip, and Chandler went up for the ball, and it looked like he was 4 feet above everybody else. My gosh, I think his vertical has got to be insane. When I saw that picture, I don't know if you guys saw the same picture, and I think I sent it to a couple of you. Scott, what's your opinion? Who's going to dominate, and who's the surprise that you got for us?
I don't know that we're going to have a surprise other than possibly Tyler Morris. I mean, listen, everybody's going to be on the lookout for Becker. We all know Marsh is a beast, right? We watched what he did with very little talent surrounding him at Michigan State, right? So if he comes out and has a big year, it's not a surprise. If Becker comes out and has a big year, it's not a big surprise. Tyler Morris is the one. And then I'll be honest with you, I think either Preston or Chandler will see a lot more than people realize because I think if we get up on games, we're going to start seeing a little bit of different things going on.
Okay, like early season, I think we'll see the depth. Let me ask you a quick question, Brian. Let me move over to you for a second. Given I lost my train of thought there for a minute. Given the fact that these wide receivers are as capable as they are, what percentage of offense do you think goes to the wide receivers?
I think it's going to be probably about 45%. I think we're going to be a run-first team, but it's not by much. But just given Cignetti in the past the way he was and his Mike Shanahan.
Okay. Let's move on. Let's talk about what keeps these running backs and wide receivers and the quarterback what keeps them behind the ball, so to speak. We're going to talk a little bit about Shanahan. And we're going to talk about Coach Sunseri too. Mr. Hare himself, man, what great. Now I'm jealous. I really am. I'm looking at this. I'm so jealous. But we're going to talk about the style of play this year. Okay. Here's the question I'm going to pose to you guys, and I want your thoughts on it. Does the offense, does Shanahan and Sunseri mold their offense around the talent of these players, or do they have like a template that they got right in there and they're going to mold the players into the template? Does that kind of make sense? And like, for example, or is it just like, hey, this is the template, it's a plug and play, we went out and got these guys because they fit the system? We're going to go to you first, Jake.
I think it's going to be the same as you've seen it the last 2 years. They have their mold, they have what they want to do, and I think they go in high school and transfer and get exactly what fits that mold. I mean, with the receivers, like I said earlier, Marsh is just like a Cooper in my opinion, and then with Turbo Richard, I think he's a very good RPO running back. So I think it's going to be the same thing as you've seen the last 2 years.
Yeah. How about you, Scott?
I think it'll be a combination of that and really, developing the system around what talents they bring to the table, right? Like they know what they did from a transfer portal standpoint from other teams. But once they get into the room, you can kind of see a little bit more what they're capable of. Because sometimes, like I said, I think they know what Marsh is capable of. But like Turbo Richard, like the offensive line he ran behind at Boston College was not very good.
Yeah.
So once he has an opening, behind Smith and those other guys, right? Like he's going to have a totally different look at what that offensive line will offer to him as far as being able to break up with some big plays.
Murs, what do you think the approach is?
I think it's going to be pretty much what it's been the past 2 years. I think when they recruit a player or a transfer, they have a system one way or another that they know that he'll plug in, whether it's going to be more run, more pass. I just think that it's going to be pretty much the same.
Okay. As far as like, first of all, I want to say congrats to the weightlifting coach this year, conditioning coach. Man, I've seen pictures of these guys. They are absolutely jacked. I mean, it's like Schwarzenegger in a jersey out there. It's insane what these guys look like this year. So I'm pretty stoked about that. Hope we can keep injury free. If so, I think, again, the defense carries this team, but I'm hoping that offense takes next step up. They got Sunseri and Shanahan listed as co-offensive coordinators. Scott, who has more control of the offense, you think?
I mean, I really think that they give Sunseri that nod as the co-offensive coordinator because he's the quarterback coach.
Yeah.
And obviously he knows his stuff, but I mean, let's be honest, Shanahan was his number one for the last 14 years they've been together.
Sure.
But I think it's more about like in some method, sometimes in order to pay somebody a certain amount, you kind of got to give them a little extra title or a little extra that might be more the route that I would look at with that system or with that thought process.
I'm gonna go back to the wide receiver for a second. I was just thinking of a question I wanted to ask you guys. I personally had said, what your surprise player is. I'm telling you right now, watch out for LeBron Bond. I'm just telling you, with his size. And before he got hurt last year, if you guys remember, he was killing. I mean, he was making big snatches and out of the air, and he was just absolutely killing last year. So I'm saying watch out for Bond. Let me ask you this real quick. Who has the most yards? Not the most yards, but the most yards per catch this year in the wide receiver core. I'm going to go to you, Murph. Talk to me. Who do you think has the most yards per catch? And then I want to know who has the most after catch yards.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I think Charlie Becker's going to have the most yards per catch, but I think that Nick Marks will have the most yards after catch.
Jake, would you agree with that, bro?
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Scott?
Man, I tell you, it could go either way on the most yards per catch. Like I said, it's all going to come down to chemistry. It would not shock me if Marsh ends up with the most yards per catch. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if Tyler Morris has the most yards after catch. I mean, he's just got the body for it. I mean, he can take the hit, he can move. And not to say that Becker can't, but Becker's going to be used. I mean, how many times did Becker have contested balls, but they were sideline jobs, right? Like, I mean, Like he literally, I think he hit 13 out of 17 that were contested balls, but almost every single one of them were like outside routes right on the, the out of bounds line where he was jump catching it, that type of thing. Whereas I don't think he'll have as many opportunities to get the yards after the catch as the other guys will. But man, I tell you, I'm just so impressed with what we have from a wide receiver standpoint. I just really love the room in general.
Well, let me ask
you if you think about our wide receivers last year, Becker at 7 out of last games was our top wide receiver.
Say that again.
Becker was our top wide receiver 7 out of last 8 games.
Sure. And man, the injuries, I think Jake had pointed that out earlier. The injuries to the other players that got Becker, like Surratt got hurt, Becker stepped in, and then somebody else got hurt, and then Stephen Daly stepped in. Man, it kind of gives these players, like Curt Cignetti said in his interview the other day, next man up mentality, and that's what we're going to do this year. As far as a total offense this year, are we going to look better than last year, or do you think we just maintain, or do you think we won't be as effective, Scott?
It's really hard to say whether we'll be better or not. I think we have the weapons to be better for sure. Fernando just made so few mistakes, right? So it's really hard to say whether or not we can keep Hoover from making the same mistakes that he made at TCU. And I understand we've got the offensive line and we have the running game that's going to help him, greatly. But, it's just going back and looking at film of, Fernando all year, just a number of just like passes he just put on a dime, that were right on the out of bounds, over the shoulder, things to that nature. It's really hard to say we're going to click better than we did last year, but man, we definitely have the talent to do it, assuming the chemistry is there.
Jake, do we step up or do we step back?
I think, like Scott said, it's hard to tell. I think we do have a deeper receiver room, deeper running back room as far as if they stay healthy. But it does hurt losing Fernando, and I think it hurts extremely more losing Nowakowski. He, I think, was the glue that made our offense. Whether it was blocking or catching, whatever it was that he did it extremely well.
He fit the system to a T. He was a Cignetti type plug and play player. I agree. Merce, what are we going to do? Are we stepping up? Or are we stepping back?
Think about this. Indiana football had a Heisman Trophy winner, number 1 draft pick, and we're asking ourselves if we're going to have a better offense this year or last year. What world are we living in?
Welcome to Indiana football.
Welcome to Indiana football. Cignetti is a genius. I think we'll be around the same, but Fernando Mendoza, he was special in those special moments.
Yeah, I agree. He was like the gambler, Kenny Rogers. He knew when to hold him and when to fold him. He was absolutely he was super intelligent. I want to talk about the offensive line and how you think they're going to hold up this year. Jake, what do you think about the offensive line?
I think the offensive line, in my opinion, might be even maybe not better, but just about there as last year's. I mean, you got a bunch of starts between all of them, like nearly 150 starts combined on your offensive line. And like Drew Evans, left guard, 0 sacks and 656 pass snaps. Like, I think it's going to be really solid. It's going to be hard to get in there.
Quick question for you guys. Scott, who's going to get the snapper position? Is it going to be Lynch or is it going to be Evans, do you believe? Or somebody else?
I think it'll be Bray Lynch. I got Bray Lynch as the center right now.
Okay.
I've got our left guard being Drew Evans, our right guard being a Johnny. I have our left tackle as Carter Smith, and then I have our right tackle as Joe Bruner. I have those as our starting offensive line.
Merce, what about you? Who's snapping the ball this year?
I agree with your brother, but I think also in fall camp, I think they will all move around just so they can get in different positions. But I have it just like Scott does.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I was listening to the Cignetti interview today, and he brought up a name. I know it's on the other side of the ball, but I just want to bring him up tonight because I think I expect big things out of I can't really say his name, Ndukwe.
Yeah.
Remember last year, like in the last 3 or 4 games, he was just absolutely just getting to the quarterback at will. So about Cignetti said he had a great camp. So just on the other side of the ball real quick, I'm really looking forward to Ndukwe or however you pronounce his name this year. Well, that's going to be about it tonight. Jake, we're going to close with some closing statements. You got anything to close with us today, Jake?
I think, just overall, offense is going to be very fun to watch. We're going to have a lot of speed, whether it's the receiver room or the running back room. And it's going to be pretty similar to last year as well. Them running backs, I noticed last season, they were always falling forward. And I've seen that a lot with this current running back room as well. So it's going to be a fun season to watch.
We agree. Scott, what's your closing arguments tonight?
Yeah, I really like the team overall from an offensive perspective. I'm really watching out to see what the chemistry looks like between Hoover, Marsh, Becker, and Morris, and that in that first run of wide receivers. I'm really anxious to see how Brockshot or maybe possibly Baker or Barker comes in on the tight end position to see where that kind of falls into place. And then I really, really, really want to see how the offensive line plays together and what happens with what Brian said. There might be some swapping around of right and left, so that way if somebody does get injured, they can plug and play a little easier from that aspect.
I appreciate it, Scott. What about you, Brian? What's your closing arguments for the night?
My closing arguments for the night is for the past 2 years, we were told we don't belong, we don't belong, we don't belong. And now that we won a national championship, 16-0,
yeah,
everybody can't stand Indiana fans. Well, I got something for the haters. I'm going to cheers. Go Hoosiers.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'll leave you on this note. Indiana fans have been humble the last 40 years. And now, you know what? Now, like Mercer said, now it's time to stick out the chest, breathe in a deep thing, get a little cocky. I'm ready to get cocky now, guys. I'm ready to be like a UK basketball fan. I'm ready to be arrogant and obnoxious all year long. And I was that way towards the end of last year. So we're going to leave it there tonight. Great show tonight, guys. And we'll say this. We'll always leave it like this. Keep the passion, keep the faith, but always keep it between the stripes. Until next time, take care of each other. Later, Hoosiers.